Bring your basket and bring your bag. Bring your basket and bring your bag. I hear the mango tree calling, curry mango and sour patch. The lady on the street is calling out to me, and the market man with the plantain in his hand is making such a scene. I love my island life, where the businessmen
Good
know where
evening, everyone, and welcome to another meeting of the Abaco Farmers Association. My name is Danica Mackey, and I will be your moderator for what I hope and I'm sure will be another informative meeting. I'm so delighted that you're all taking the time to join us this evening, even though I think we're about five or six. Hopefully, the number comes up as we continue on. So I'm delighted that you've taken the time to join us this evening. And whether you're here for the first time or you're someone who's been consistent to our meetings so far, we're so happy to have you here with us. So without further ado, tonight we're privileged to hear from someone who has turned farming into a thriving business. Mr. Moss is a former educator of 46 years. He retired a few weeks shy of Hurricane Dorian. He was someone who was always interested in farming, just as I have always been as well. So the birth of his farm, Fruity Freddie Farms, was kind of natural for him. His farm, located in Treasure Key, produces products for locals and visitors alike. He is the proud daughter. He is the proud single father, sorry, of his daughter, Latanya. Mr. Moss has shown that agriculture is so much more than crops, but it is also about creating opportunities and strengthening our communities. Please, if you can, give a virtual clap as we welcome our speaker for this evening, Mr. Huel Moss.
Good evening, and thank you so much, Ms. Markey, for that cordial introduction. I'm going to be very fast tonight. I know persons who know me would kind of smirk at that because I've been known to be very long-winded when I was in the education field, especially as an administrator in doing general assemblies. But nonetheless, I'm glad to have this opportunity, and I'm glad to that Abaco Farmers Association afforded me this opportunity to address some of the items or topics that I went through over the last several years in getting my business, Fruity Freddie Farms, to where it is today, and growing. First, I would like to say that it's amazing that you never realize how important certain things are until you don't have them. That old saying, "You never miss the water till a well run dry," is so true. Um, that I heard my parents say so many times. And Dorian taught all of us a lesson. And it wasn't until the aftermath of Dorian that you realize that a lot of the things there's a lot of things we took for granted. You know, you could have had all kind of money in your pocket and still wouldn't. There was no place to spend it. There was no food coming into the island, and so you were dependent on others. And when I say others, I'm talking about friends from other countries that came to assist us during that time. And so it really made you kind of reflect on, okay, where do we go from here? And like in my intro was said in the intro, farming was always a part of what I was, because I grew up with my father, my grandfather in Crooked Island. Of course, it wasn't the mechanized farming that we see a lot today. It was subsistence farming or porthole farming, but it was still farming, and it fed the family. And so I said, you know what? If we as Bahamians, as a country, don't take farming serious and not be able to feed ourselves, we will always be subservient to the ones who can and do feed us. And so um, I was afforded the opportunity. Well, thank God that we had a lot of NGOs that came from various countries and as well as right here in the Bahamas that offered opportunities. And I took advantage of every single opportunity I got. Um, all of them were not successful, but you couldn't succeed unless you made the attempt. And so I was just take a quick moment to give a shout out to Samaritan Purse, World Central Kitchen, Moisey Corp, um, Abaco Strong, Blue Atlas, Ministry of Agriculture, BAIC, Small Business Development Center, International Red Cross, just to name, you know, the major ones that um, was a part of, you know, what I had to what I had to do and where I am now. Um, what I decided was the opportunity presented itself me to go into another aspect of farming as opposed to the traditional farming, and that is aquaponics and hydroponics. Um, both systems I knew very little about or none at all, and so this is where um, when you apply for certain grants, you had to, part of the requirement was to do certain courses, and they taught you about the systems that you were going to acquire, and also um, they also taught you business skills, some accounting, and stuff like that, so that when they left you, you were able to stand up on your own and carry on with that particular system. And so, along with the University of YouTube, I was able to uh, learn a whole lot about aquaponics and hydroponics, the two systems that I now operate here in Treasure Key, supplying and growing greens and certain vegetables and herbs, which I supply to my individual customers locally, as well as business customers such as restaurants and resorts. So uh, that has been working out fairly well. Um, not to the point where right now it is sustainable. There's still some things I need to invest in for it to grow and be more sustainable. And one of those things will be obviously a solar system that would be able to run the pumps um, for both systems, because and I'm sure all of us know by now we can't rely 100% on BPL, um, and especially during disasters, natural disasters. BPL would not be a part of the equation in any case. So you need to have something to sustain the operations during those times. Um, in addition to the two aquaponic systems, I mean the aquaponic system, hydroponic systems, um, my number one sector in the business is the value added sector, where I produce um, pepper sauces, pepper jellies, barbecue sauces, and guava jam. And this is one aspect of the business I try to really push um, when I do my educational, um, events at schools and at other functions. And I try to let the young people understand that you don't, agriculture is not just planting and growing. That aspect of the agriculture is, yes, that's the primary aspect. But the added value aspect can be even more economically pleasing, because you actually are able to earn much more from your products. than just harvesting what you plant. And so um, it uh, I try to let them know that agriculture is something that you don't have to work hard in, you just have to work smart. And if they can do that, and if they can apply themselves to that in the sense where you find a niche where you can provide a product that is in demand, and if you like doing what that is, really you'll have a business that should be successful, and not only successful in terms of income, but successful in you know in helping your community grow, your island grow, and obviously eventually the nation at large. So those are the things I really push because um, education, being an educator for so long, that is one of my major thrusts in the business, in trying to educate young people. And you will see later on in the this presentation some of the photos of those interactions with young people, and adults for that matter. So it has been rewarding. It is a lot of work. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, and you have to put in to get out. And I'm finding out, even in trying to um, get help, that a lot of young people, they want a job, but they don't want to work, and that is something we really have to work on as a as a country. That is one of the little negatives about the business. Um, I am going to wrap up here in a couple of minutes because the brunt of my presentation today is going to be the question and answer, because I think that's where most of the learning occurs. Because I could directly respond to exactly your concerns or your queries. And so, you know, all the things I mentioned so far, you still have to tie everything up, um, whereby you have to, what should I say, package your business and package your products, because it doesn't make any sense that you have a good product if the community or the potential customers don't know. And so this is where your branding and your PR and your ads, your advertisements, they come in. And as a solo person in the business, um, I have to do a lot of that myself too. So you have to package and sell yourself, sell your products through social media or by other means. And so people know that, first of all, you exist, and they also know what you are carrying and what you have to sell. And yeah, and that way you build up, you start to build up your customer relationship and your clientele, which is extremely important. I have found out um, through, again, experience, that the best form of getting the word out there for your business and your products is by word of mouth. And so if you have a product that's good and your customers know it's good, they will do a lot of the advertising for you, and the PR for you. So uh, that really is a very strong point. The the last thing I would say is farming is very enjoyable if you have a love for it, if you understand what it entails, not just for you as an individual, for yourself and your family, but also for other farmers as well, in the arena, and how it helps your community and your country as a whole. Because if we can cut some of our food import bill down a little bit, even by say in the next 5-10 years by 5-10%, it will make a difference. So I know we have a long way to go with that because over 90% of our products are edible products we import. But we have to make a start. And I think kudos goes out to the administrators of this new organization, association, I should say, Abaco Farmers Association, for putting this together. And I think it's gonna do wonders, and it's gonna go a long way in solidifying the importance of farming, not just the Abaco, but to the Bahamas as a whole. And so at this time, what I would like to do is to have Mr. Johnson show you um, a little video clip of some of the interactions that Fruity Freddie has with not just our customers, but the community, our young people, and some of our products. And I want you to pay close attention to presentation in terms of what people are seeing. Now, I know that's not everything because the product has to have good quality and good price for retail as well. However, the old saying is you eat with your eyes. If the food looks good, chances are it tastes good as well. So presentation of your products is extremely important. Having a strong clientele, having a good rapport with your customers is extremely important. And I found out, again, through trial and error, experience is the best teacher, that I have built up a huge customer clientele, not just here in Abaco and New Providence, but in the United States and Canada as well, where some of my most strongest customers, come from.
The Abaco Farmers Association is pleased to present this virtual tour of Fruity Freddie Farms, proudly owned and operated by Mr. Huel Moss. Fruity Freddie Farms is more than a productive farm. It is a place of learning, inspiration, and community. Mr. Moss is passionate about opening his farms to schools, youth groups, community organizations, and visitors, giving them the opportunity to experience firsthand how food is grown and to gain a greater appreciation for agriculture in the Bahamas. Although you may not be walking the fields with us today, this virtual tour offers a glimpse into the hard work, innovation, and dedication that make Fruity Freddie Farms a model of agricultural excellence. The Abaco Farmers Association proudly recognizes Mr. Huel Moss for his commitment to educating the public, supporting local agriculture, and inspiring the next generation of Bahamian farmers. Welcome to our virtual tour of Fruity Freddie Farms. We hope you enjoy the experience.
Fruity Freddie Farms, pepper sauces, pepper jellies, and barbecue sauces are always Bahamian and always good.
I don't know if anybody can hear me. I'm like an old lady who can't really do all these computer things well, but I think I can be speaking right now. And I want to tell you that Huel Moss has been a major man in Abaco for at least the 40 years I've been here. He's been a brilliant educator. He's been a magnificent biology teacher. He has done well with everything he's done with his daughter and bringing her up, and I'm very proud of him. And I believe everything he says is absolutely right. We should be doing more of it. I hate to say that I'm one of the ones who doesn't do it because I'm like a black thumb person instead of a green thumb. But you know, there, your message is loud and clear, and I will promote your message as far as it could go. But I got to tell you, I got a couple of pots of herbs. That's about it. But I will still try to promote your message to the rest of the Bahamas and to the rest of my friends. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Joy, for those kind words. Yes, yes, I've known you quite a while, and you're one of my big supporters, and I do appreciate that. And I'm sure you know the work that goes into it. And I wouldn't say you have a black thumb or brown thumb or whatever. Everybody can grow something. So you just gotta hang it. You just gotta hang in there, Joy.
I know. I gotta try and make it go, but I like the hydroponic aspects of it, and I think that's the way that we need to be moving here because and I love the fact that you're saying start to grow things that we could eat and make ourselves more sustainable. I'm very proud of you, and I hope everybody else gets the message out there, and lots of love. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Yes, and if I may add, because I think we're going into any questions and answer section. If I may add, I know that a lot of young people are tech savvy, and so I try to push that aspect of farming to them, to let them know that farming doesn't have to be how you grew up thinking farming is all about. You go in the back of the yard with your cutlass and you weed and you dig and you sweat and yes, that's part of it in some cases. But farming has advanced so much from when I was growing up. In fact, you have farms now that are completely contained in containers that are completely operated by electronics. And you could control all the elements of that farm from your laptop or from your smartphone. And so even with the hydroponics, Joy mentioned that you can start simple. There's some simple systems where you can just have a small system right on your patio or your porch, and you can start from something like that and grow whatever that you want to grow for yourself. And you could start that way. Of course, the aquaponics is a little bit more, involved, but nonetheless, you can. And the students seem to be a lot of them are enthused, and you never know. And I keep saying this to people, you do your job in educating them, and some of them might not get it right away, but sometimes things click 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, and boom, they remember something about that aspect of farming and they research it and they get into it. And that's what we're hoping for with our youth.
I totally agree, and I will leave it open for other people right now. But you're the man of greatest respect. We're both biologists, and you've moved into this after. And I'm very, very, very proud of you, and I totally support what you're doing. And I hope I can get there.
Yes.
Thank you. Good night.
Good evening, everybody. I got knocked out for a minute, but I think we're into the question and answer section. I have a question of my own, Mr. Moss. Two questions, actually. So my first one is, um, if you could give a new farmer, I wouldn't consider myself really a farmer. I just do a little bit of backyard gardening for myself. But there are many persons now in the community who I have conversations with in passing who are interested in backyard gardening like myself, and even more so becoming farmers. What advice would you give them to move from those who are already backyard gardeners to move forward from just growing crops, but to begin creating value added products like you do? What advice would you give them if you could give them just one piece of advice?
I would say find something you like to do in terms of grow, possibly. Um, if not grow, find something where there is a demand or a need. I'll give you a good example. This, in fact, still now, there's still a lot available. This year we had, an abundance of mangoes. Mangoes were, they really produced this year, and I would venture to say, if not probably more than half of those mangoes were not used, because most persons with mangoes, what they do is they just try to sell them, and you eat them just as the mangoes. Um, we don't have, and Nick Hollis from Abaco mentioned it several times. Why don't we have some form of juicer or juicing facility somewhere in the Bahamas on one of these islands where we can take those thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of mangoes and turn them into juice that can be frozen and that can be used throughout the year. I mean, you can use mangoes for so many things other than eating the fresh mangoes. Nothing wrong with eating the fresh mangoes. That's good. But if you're trying to get into the business or trying to get into farming to the point where you even supplement your income, all right, you will make 10, 20, 30 times more from using that mango in another product than just the fresh mango. All right. Mango juice, mango smoothie, mango ice cream. I use it for barbecue sauce. I do a couple of types of mango barbecue sauces. There's so many things. Your imagination is boundless in terms of what you can do. Okay, and even if your imagination kind of gets stymied, do like I always do. You go to University of YouTube, and you will find all kind of opportunities. But I always say, I know it sounds simple, but I always say, grow where God planted you. God has blessed the Bahamas with being able to grow or have grown in the Bahamas so many types of fruits and vegetables. We are not taking advantage of it because we are too complacent as a people, and we look at it as work, as opposed to a form of enjoyment, a form of employment, and a form of income, and big income, because we have over 5 million tourists come to this country every year. 5 million. I'm not talking about our population. 5 million tourists. And I can tell you this from experience, the visitors come to the Bahamas, they want to experience Bahamian products. And we're not doing enough of it. All right. It's not just in the farming, in the straw craft as well. They are tired of seeing things they have to buy in the Bahamas that is made in another country. So I would say find a niche, find an opportunity. I don't know if you ever noticed, Bahamians like the copycat.
I found it.
One person starts something, everybody wants to do the same thing. Sit down, look around, find a hole that nobody's going in, and jump in that hole, establish your stuff within that hole, and become successful in it before anybody else notices.
Mhm. Yeah.
And you will corner that market.
Yes, that's excellent advice. I have a brother who always says, if you're looking to start a business, find a problem. What is there a
There
problem you
you
see
go.
in the
Yes.
community? And when
Yes.
you solve that problem, you've got your business. But I like
Yes.
how you don't, the way that you describe it is find something that you like, find something that
Yes.
you're interested in,
Yes.
and that's another way to
Yes.
tap
Yes.
into something that
And I'm
someone
sure
is
you heard that
not
old
doing.
saying too, that Michael, I think is attributed to Michael Jordan. Um, if you find something you love to do, you will never have to work a day in your life because it's almost like a hobby. You know, they paid him millions of dollars for playing basketball, and that's what he loved doing. You can't lose with that.
Okay, are there any more questions? I have another one, but I don't want to. I'll come back with my question. Are there any more questions from any of our other attendees?
Thank you, Mr. Moss, for that informative and inspiring presentation. You shared practical knowledge drawn from years of experience, and I'm sure many of us have been encouraged by what we've heard tonight. My first question is, you began your career as an educator. What inspired you to transition from education, from teaching, into full-time farming and agricultural entrepreneurship?
Um, you're gonna smile when I give you this answer. Um, remember now, I started Fruity Freddie Farms about 2014 thereabouts, doing part-time processing. Um, and during that time to now, basically speaking, I perfected my recipe for my Fire Freddy's gold pepper sauce, and it really caught on. And by extending how customers fell in love with it, and extrapolating the fact that, hey, if I can produce this amount of this particular product, I could actually make more money than I was making as an educator. Okay. And so I kept that in the back of my mind as I developed, the quality of my products. And like I told Ms. Markey a while ago, I love just producing the product. And so it became an extended hobby. And so you love producing this product. This product actually brings in money into the family and assists the family. Okay, it's a win-win situation. And so it grew year after year. And of course, the aftermath of Dorian brought everything home.
Mr. Mossy, your presentation has shown us that success in agriculture isn't determined only by the size of a farm, but by good planning, innovation, and wise management. Many people would like to get into farming, but find it difficult or hesitant because they believe they need a lot of land or a large amount of capital to begin. With that in mind, I'd like to ask my next question. For someone with limited land and resources, what would you recommend as the best way to start a profitable farm in Abaco?
Um, well, that's a good question. Um, if you take, what's amazing is I have 5 acres leased property through BAIC, and I have found that my processing, my aquaponics, and my hydroponics keep me so busy that my orchard farm that I have planned for that acreage is kind of on the back burner right now because I need to put so much into what I am dealing with right now because it's growing really, really, really fast. You don't need a whole lot of land. In fact, you we have people right here in Abaco who are growing pineapples in 3-gallon, 5-gallon pots right on their patio, or in their small backyard. They have dozens, hundreds of pineapple slips, growing pineapples. And who doesn't like pineapple? Nice, sweet, locally Bahamian grown pineapples. And so you don't need a whole lot of, you know, area. Um, Grow, and I had to learn this myself initially because once I got into when I initially got my systems, you become so excited, you feel like you're Superman. You want to grow everything, and you realize, well, everybody doesn't eat everything that you grow. If you grow everything, and not only that, um, if you try to grow everything, your income to offset the cost of the growing season, you're going to stay in the red. So grow, not only if you're growing for your family, fine, but if you're growing to expand eventually as a commercial farmer or to have income to supplement your main income, grow what is demanded. And that's what I found out. Like today now, instead of me trying to grow everything, I just grow 1 to 5 products that I know is in demand. That way, I know I would have sales for those. That way, I know I will have income, cash flow, and that's why in any business, okay, cash flowing to make a profit. But no, like I told Joy Chaplin a while ago, you can start a hydroponic system with 1 unit, right in your, in fact, right in your porch, right in your living room, and then expand from there as you become more successful. The aquaponics, again, you don't need a whole lot of land. You can start at 20 feet, 20 feet square, 10 feet square. You can start an aquaponic system. And the advantage with the aquaponic system is you can grow for your family or for your friends, or sell a little bit just to cover maybe the cost. But the advantage, the double advantage with the aquaponics is, the aquaponics basically is run by the fish. The fish is the nucleus. The fish is the base. And so once the fish grows and get large enough, you can harvest those. And so you can harvest your plants and you can harvest your fish. So it's a win-win situation. So you just have to be innovative, speak with people with the knowledge, um, um, get involved with local farming in your community, um, latch on as an apprentice, I guess, with a farmer. I know when I first started on a serious level after Dorian, I can say this without a shadow of a doubt that the farmers in Abaco work together really closely as a unit. Um, in my hydroponics, farmer Glenn Kelly from Ponciana Driftwood Farms, he was my mentor in getting my stuff off the ground because he has acres and acres of hydroponic systems, and so that was a big help. And then you have other farmers, Nick from Abaco. You have Brenda from Gideon Farms, and so on and so forth. All these people, even Abaco Bird, okay, as big, these are the big fish in the pond, but they will assist you once you make an effort to say, look, I need this, or I don't understand this. What do you suggest? And that's your network. And that's how not only you would grow, but the whole farming community grows as well.
Excellent advice, Mr. Moss. I have just I was going to say one more, but two questions. Where does the name Fruity Freddie come from? I always wanted to know that. From I heard about your farm, I always wanted to know where that name came from. That catchy name.
Danica, why are you doing this to me? Let me tell you the joke. I mean, well, with anything, a business with no name or no sign is a sign with no business of no business. So you definitely need a good name. And how I was brought up by my parents, you don't follow the crowd. And so I wanted to be different. I wanted to be unique. And so I tried different things. And one of my students from Abaco Central I at the time, now Patrick Bethel, um, he eventually graduated and he became, in fact, his business is still thriving. He became an artist and now he's a graphic artist and he's doing well. I went to him with a couple of ideas and I said, I need you to put this together for me as a sign, as a logo to represent what I feel I want my customers and the business world to see me as. And my name is Frederick. My second name is Frederick. That's where the Freddie comes from. My initial thrust in farming, again, I mentioned the 5 acres through BAIC, was to plant 5 acres of indigenous Bahamian fruit trees, ganeps, dillies, sugar apples, mammies, stuff that we grew up on, but you don't see as much today as, back then. And so that represented fruits. So I said, let me see if I can put fruits and Freddie together. So I came with different things, and Fruity Freddie came up, stuck. So I went to him, I explained to him, and so that logo with the guy with the hat with all the fruits around him, he did that for me. And so I had to go, of course, get the license, the logo licensed and everything, registered. And when I went in, and she said, okay, I filled the form out. She passed the form in. She looked at the nail. She looked at me. She looked at the nail. She looked at me. She said, Mr. Moss, you sure you want to register this name? Because the word fruity has certain connotations in certain cultures. So I said yes. And Danica, I'll be honest with you. The majority of my customers are visitors and second homeowners. Okay. Once they see, once they say, once they hear Fruity Freddie, they never ever forget it. And so that's the story behind it. And I would always tell people I didn't come with it myself. That was divinely given to me. And I just stuck with it.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Now I know.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
now I know. All right, on to my next question. So I am, as you know, an educator as well. I currently teach fourth grade, and we have on our curriculum now in fourth grade, not very much in depth, but we have farming and fishing. And one of the most important pieces of content in the farming part of it is to teach the students that farming was once the most important occupation in the world. And we can see in Abaco, I mean, through just a lot of people, like you say, gardening on their porch out of buckets. So it's coming back. It's not where we would like to see
Yes,
it,
I
but
agree.
it's coming back. And in just seeing it on our curriculum, that's encouraging as well. So that leads me to my next question. Where do you see agriculture in Abaco in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? Where do you see it?
I would say what I would like, where I would like to see it. And I think it's, you mentioned in a way, it's slowly getting there. And I think it comes through education and the young people understanding that you can actually provide an income for yourself and your family that's on the upper middle level. Um, um, I think that is where a lot of people have the misconception about farming. They don't realize that you could actually make a lot of money from farming. You know, Edison Key, one of our old farmers, he became a millionaire from farming, citrus farming. So it's the tenacity to follow through with the desire to get it done. And Dorian was a big setback for Abaco. However, Abaco was always growing very fast in the tourist sector. And so I think if the young people could understand, look, everybody can't be a taxi driver. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? We need to diversify the base. And I think once they could understand that, hey, I can make an income for my family through this. Okay. And this is why pushing them so hard that it will become more viable and you'll get more people interested. And of course, with the help, and I keep telling government officials this, especially in our culture and stuff like that, that it's not so much the farmers are looking for handouts per se. They're looking for a playing field or an atmosphere that conducive to farming, where they can make money, where there's no extra burden on them. That a lot of us going through right now, to be quite honest with you. So we needed to be taken seriously for it to make a comeback like how it was. And I think it can happen, especially in Abaco, because I can tell you right now, Ms. Markey, I need to expand my systems big time. Today alone, everything I had was sold, and I didn't have enough for one of my business customers. So I need to expand because not only the tourists, but I think Bahamians themselves are finding out when you grow your own food, it might be a little bit more expensive because we have to pay for a lot of stuff we have to use, but it's better for you. It's more nutritious. It tastes better. And the third thing is they last longer. I have had my customers tell me they buy lettuce in the shop, it lasts 2-3 days. They buy locally grown lettuce, it lasts a week and a half. Big difference. So education is key. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep pressing. Because you never know when that teaching will stick.
Good evening. If I might interject, I had my hand up, but I don't know if anybody noticed.
I know this person.
Yes, go ahead, Miss
Daphne.
Daphne. Yes.
Yeah. I sorry that I wasn't able to attend the beginning part of the meeting, but so happy to have been able to tune in when I did. And Fruity Freddie, let me tell you something. You are one of the big boys, okay? Don't ever say you ain't one of the big boys because you're right there. You are a success story that I am proud of, and I have to say, I do support and purchase your pepper sauce out of the supermarket. You mentioned earlier that, I know that the bulk of your sales go to second homeowners and visitors. How do we turn around to get locals to actually support local produce? That's a question I want to put out there. Another thought, we've been advocating for, and we really need to push for a packing house, a packaging house. The farmers go out and grow the crop, but like you're saying now, you need to expand. Who do you have your eye on, or how can you attract in a young person that number one will help to provide for succession planning for you going forward. And number two, help you to expand the business. Do you think that we have enough or enough business counselors, let's say, to help structure that kind of growth? And lastly, it's a lot of things on my mind, but lastly, where do you see the gap? What is the niche market that is missing? If I came to you today and said, Mr. Freddie, I want to go into farming. I don't know where to start and I don't know what to start with. What crop would you encourage a new farmer to go into that they could make a living from?
Um, boy, Daphne, I think you asked 3 questions and I forgot the first 2.
It's okay. Start with the one you remember.
But I know a lot of second owners and restaurants for that matter asking for locally grown microgreens. I don't know if Glenn grows any of those, but microgreens. And again, there's still, Glenn, myself, and anybody else who grows the greens. Um, there's such a demand for it, even just an Abaco alone.
Yeah.
Okay, that people can still come into that particular sector, you
Uh-huh.
know. But if you just, I would say, ask around to the restaurants, um, to the foods, well, not so much the food stores. The restaurant is the main thing because that's where, a lot of the tourists, yeah, they come here. The second ones, they go to Maxwell's, whatever, they buy stuff, they take home, but they frequent the restaurants. So the restaurants is the one that would need what the farms are growing initially. And so based on feedback from them, that will definitely give you a good idea as well. But I would
And
say
you're being supported by the restaurants adequately?
right now, Daph, I would say I have 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 restaurants that I know you probably didn't hear the part I told Ms. Maki a while ago, but for a good example is today, all the greens I have was sold, and I still wasn't able to supply the demand they needed for the day.
Wow.
And that's from restaurants.
Okay.
So, and I haven't, to be quite honest with you, Daph, let me tell you how the demand is. I During the peak season, the growing season, which starts basically October, November, around there. I would have twice every month, every 2 weeks, I would have a little tent sale right here in Treasure Key. And my second owners, they look forward to that. And that's one of the reasons why I had to curtail me participating in other tent sales because Treasure Key kept me so busy.
Yeah.
Now, what's happening is the restaurants' demand is growing so fast that I am actually, stifling my second homeowners
Uh-huh.
because once the restaurants buy all my stuff, then I can't, cater to my second homeowners. So
Right.
the demand is there, and that's a good thing. And Abaco is still growing from Dorian, so the need is gonna get larger.
So are
So
you so my question is, are you able to find that, because it's not just having the space and what is holding you up from expanding? Is it finances? Is it manpower? What are the major holdups?
finances, and manpower. Um, and I'm sure you know this. Finding good help is
Yeah.
hard, and especially finding good, young, and I'm going to say it, young Bahamian help is
Yeah.
hard. You
Yeah.
know, I had a few who tried, but like I told them earlier, everybody wants a job, but nobody wants to work.
Right.
And
Right.
so that's an issue. you know. And of course, all my kids are basically grown and moved off. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a one man show, so to speak. And so, yes, that is a factor. And finances is a factor right now, but I that should change fairly soon. Um,
Great.
I have great confidence in that because the demand is there, Daph. The demand is there.
Yeah. Yeah, that the labor force is a serious problem, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're in the same boat, actually.
Yes, yes.
We're in the
And
same boat because
I said
we're
you would know, yeah. Yes,
we have
yes,
to curtail how much business we can produce because of the lack of, reliable
yes,
help.
yes,
Young
yes,
people today, they want a quick fix, and
yes,
somehow or whether we got to turn it around. But trying to identify someone who has the vision to being independent
yes,
outside of
yes,
the
yes,
norm box,
yes, yeah.
outside of
And that's why I
yeah.
mentioned Daphne. It's not easy, but you have to go into the schools, you have to go to youth functions, and you have to educate because a lot of them don't know. They grew up with a misconception that farming is this, when they don't know that farming could be this, you know.
But
And
let me
so,
ask you something. The schools I see, and the minister apparently, they did indicate in the meeting recently that agriculture is being more promoted in the schools.
mhm,
Do you think that maybe through the agricultural sector, school sector, you could solicit, if only like maybe a couple afternoons a week or a Saturday helper, that if the teachers know that you have this need, if the teachers could be engaged to say, look, identify one or two students
mhm,
that are not academically inclined, that you feel could possibly be a potential farmer, have them send them to you to apprentice and get community service credit.
yeah. Daph, can I tell you a
I
joke?
think that's a good idea,
Yeah,
Daphne.
Yeah.
but that is done because all students graduating from schools in the Bahamas now have to do community service as part of their graduation process.
Right.
And so I did exactly what you mentioned, and I went to the school. I said, look, I could use a few students for their community involvement for their
Right.
credit towards their graduation. We had about 5 or 6 students signed up.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever showed up.
No way. No way. They just
So
never showed up. They signed up and never showed up.
they signed up, never showed up. They probably did something else, you
Oh,
know.
wow.
But that's the point I'm trying to make. It's difficult, but you can't give up,
No.
because all it takes is one or two, and there's that one or two somewhere out there. You just got to keep, plugging
Plug
away.
in. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why
Um,
I love going to the schools when I'm invited. I love doing the school groups, um, especially the younger ones because they're very impressionable at that time.
yeah.
And like I told Miss Markey and Mr. Johnson, sometimes it doesn't click right then and there. It clicks 5 years down the line or 8 years down the line, but it does click. And so that's why you never give up because you never know.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an excellent idea, Miss Daphne. I knew you as the Gregory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm whatever you
It's
want to call me, honey.
it's an excellent idea, and I'm even thinking a little further with it. Like you said, with the high schoolers, but also in the primary schools,
Yes.
they have garden clubs. And so when I was at Central Abaco Primary, I ran the garden club. And of course, what we did was traditional farming. That's what
Mhm.
we had the budget for. But
Yes.
if the schools could collaborate with you and other farmers, like you say, Mr. Moss, then students as young as the primary school students, they can see what we're doing on an even larger scale, and they could see what it could be,
Yes.
where we're starting, what it could be,
Yes.
and
Yes.
how it can be an actual occupation and they can make money from it as young as they are. So that would be great to collaborate through the
Yeah.
garden club, and the high school has their agriculture club. So
Yeah.
that's an excellent idea.
You mightn't know this, but Patrick Bethel, a couple of blocks from Caps, they have an excellent agricultural program. And there's been a
Yes, I've
few,
seen it.
yes, there have been a few organizations that's been helping them out. They have a hydroponic system. They have chickens now. They have they don't have an aquaponic system, but they have some tools. So Patrick Bethel is coming along very well. But there's so many pieces to the puzzle. Okay. Because I know we don't think about this aspect of it too. A lot of the high schools have an agricultural program. However, I would say 95% of those agricultural programs are run by foreigners. All right. So, man, you don't get me wrong. We're thankful for that. They're doing a necessity. But, we need to see this thing evolve through, Bahamanization and stuff like that. And I think the more we see of that, the more we see the young farmers out there not only doing farming, but actually earning for their families and themselves. I think that will do more than a lot of preaching from a lot of people.
Well, Mr. Moss, this, in the words of Darrell Miller, God rest his soul, this has been lively and provocative.
Provocative,
A
yeah.
lively and provocative discussion. And I would just like to thank you. I think we're out of time for questions, but I'd just like to thank you on behalf of the Abaco Farmers Association for such, a timely and informative presentation. It was very relatable, very informative, and I'd just like to thank all who joined us this evening, even though very small. I hope everyone who joined is as inspired and just as motivated as I am, and I hope that you continue in our community about this very, very important, very hard work, but very important work of food sustainability. I hope that everybody who's here this evening learned something, and that you would take what you've learned from Mr. Moss and put it into practice in your farming journey. So have a great evening, everybody, and thanks for attending.
The Abaco Farmers Association is pleased to present this virtual tour of Fruity Freddie Farms, proudly owned and operated by Mr. Huel Moss. Fruity Freddie Farms is more than a productive farm. It is a place of learning, inspiration, and community. Mr. Moss is passionate about opening his farms to schools, youth groups, community organizations, and visitors, giving them the opportunity to experience firsthand how food is grown and to gain a greater appreciation for agriculture in the Bahamas. Although you may not be walking the fields with us today, this virtual tour offers a glimpse into the hard work, innovation, and dedication that make Fruity Freddie Farms a model of agricultural excellence. The Abaco Farmers Association proudly recognizes Mr. Huel Moss for his commitment to educating the public, supporting local agriculture, and inspiring the next generation of Bahamian farmers. Welcome to our virtual tour of Fruity Freddie Farms. We hope you enjoy the experience.
Fruity Freddie Farms, pepper sauces, pepper jellies, and barbecue sauces are always Bahamian and always good.
Bring your basket and bring your bag. Bring your basket and bring your bag. I hear the mango tree calling, curry mango and sour patch. The lady on the street is calling out to me, and the market man with the plantain in his hand is making such a scene.